My name is Donald Marion Duncan. I was born on December 15th, 1917 in Durango, Colorado. I enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps and rose to the rank of technical sergeant. I was sent to Korea and was taken prisoner of war while fighting the enemy on December 10th, 1950. I died in a prison camp on June 15th, 1951. My remains have not been recovered. Remember me. My name is George Francis Polish. I was born on February 25th, 1941 in Los Animas, Colorado. I was commissioned in the United States Navy and rose to the rank of lieutenant commander. I was shot down over North Vietnam on March 8, 1967, and my body was never recovered. Remember me. The single rose reminds us of loved ones and families of our comrades who keep the faith and await their return. The red ribbon on the base, just like the ones worn by thousands back home that admire their will, determination, and who demand a proper accounting of all our missing. Remember. The picture on the table serves as a reminder to the families that they are loved and missed very much. Remember. Please join us now as we bow our heads in a moment of silence to honor all of the POW MIAs, for they will surely remember what we did here today. Thank you.
You cannot be a motorcycle rider without a vest. So the person over here coming up is the builder of what's over here. This is Mark Richardson from North Carolina. And let me tell you, he put his heart and soul into this. Does the name Justin Waldeck mean anything to you? Justin, Major Waldeck was in the same vehicle when he lost his leg. When we got hold of Chris and we brought him in, he had 3 motorcycles to pick from. He picked out a bike that we had gotten donated to us from another veteran that we'd given a bike to. That veteran is Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Rock, would you please stand up? Sergeant Rock, Vietnam veteran, shot 11 times and received his 3rd Purple Heart in Vietnam. He lost his left arm in that. He donated this bike back. Now he wants it back, by the way. On this bike, and most of you, when you get a chance to take a look at it, there's a little mark on the left side handle grip. It's because of his hook. We left that on there so that Gunny Claude knows he's got an angel with him at all times. Sergeant Rock, Dustin, please unveil. Got a special braking system on it because he lost that leg, which operates that portion of the bike. It has a one-of-a-kind remote control system so you can turn the volume up on the exhaust or down. person riding it is Dustin Richardson, the son of the builder, and he put in so many hours in this thing. Kenny Claude, about face. This is our 7th build. We were invited here to Cripple Creek by Jim Ware, and they've treated us so well. We will be back next year with another veteran.
Head up. Head up. Head up. Present arms. Hey! Color guard. Right. Hey! Forward. March. Hi-yo. 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 Hi.
The Vietnam Memorial gets more visitors as the rally nears its end. Its looming profile impresses even to the last day. A Sunday ceremony is held at Veterans Park in Cripple Creek.
How was your night last night?
One final reminder of the rally will ride on. The rally is over and riders head home. But the veterans honored here will not be forgotten.
As a kid, my uncles had Harleys all over the front yard, and I grew up wanting to get on one, and they wouldn't let me ride them till I could kickstart them. Wouldn't let me ride them till I could pick one up. They forgot to tell me that Harleys in the kickstarters, that they would kick back if you didn't kick them all the way through. So I went over the handlebars a couple of times as a kid, but eventually I was able to kick them and started riding them, and between them and the horses, that's what I was on most of my life. I still remember my first experience on any kind of two wheels was one of my best friends had a Cushman scooter, 1935, 1940 Cushman scooter, and I would ride a horse out and I would trade with him. And I'd ride the Cushman and he'd ride the horse because we had to exercise the horses every day. And you know, once you ride, there's no other way to live, you know. When I got married, my wife had hers and we rode together until we got pregnant with the first kid. You know what? I went in I went in as an MP, which would have put me in Vietnam, but the Army decided to put me in missile electronics, and I shot Hawk missiles, which shot planes out of the sky. North Vietnam had no planes, but we did have that Eastern Bloc situation, Cold War, and so all of the Hawk batteries went to Europe. I didn't. I was injured before I went there, and I was only in a little over a year, a little under a year, I guess. So yeah, interesting time. I think coming home as a child still, as you and I had talked earlier, the average age was 19 years old for the warrior in Vietnam, and you could spend 13 months there and you were still a child when you came home. But you had grown up. There was a maturity out of necessity that you experienced, and it was not particularly a fun one. And you came home to a country that as a whole did not appreciate the sacrifice that you had made. They were attacking an individual on the politics of the country. And that was very unfair, because nobody who fought in Vietnam got up in the morning one day and said, I think I'll join the Army so I can fight in Vietnam. They did what their duty was, though. They did it well. I was very proud of each and every one of them. I still mourn the loss of many, and I still lift a beer with those that are still around, just to tell them how much I appreciate them. But our country did change. It was not the same country after that. You know, I think because I spent a lot of time with vets, I saw a lot of that. I saw the slow transition, though, over the years of the majority of them, because you know, I've been under the vet medical service for 50 years also, and I've seen it change into an excellent medical facility. And they do, one of their main pushes is to help the vets that are coming home from war and help them transition into civilian life. And so I've seen that change, and I think that the guys are not as angry as they were then, as a group. There are still those that are, and they will always be. But as a whole, I think our country has changed enough to show everybody coming back how much they appreciate what they've done. The young soldier, the old soldier, the World War II soldiers that are still here. I still love to go into a place and see somebody tell an old man, thank you for your service. I'd like for the old men to tell the young guys, thank you for your service. And the difference between now and what I heard years ago is that I think our country is absolutely serious about it when they say it. It was a tremendously long process. I think we had to get into Twin Towers, that patriotism that came with that we haven't seen in our country since Pearl Harbor. You know, that tragedy that a president, whether you agreed with him or not, was there on property and binding our country together. We've had that since 2001 to now, and that whole change started then. I think that's how I see it. You know what? This is the longest war period our country has ever experienced. We're talking from 2001 to now. That's 16 years of solid war. We've never fought a war like that in this country. Okay. Civil War was not that long. World War II certainly wasn't. World War I wasn't, nor Korea or Vietnam. Vietnam actually went from 64 to 73, actual fighting. So that's 9 years. We've never fought this long. Some would say, well, this is not Iraq, this is Afghanistan, but it's the same war, just transitioned across the border. And you know, it just breaks my heart when I see these young men and women that are going through that same thing right now. And the difference also I see in Vietnam, you had a 13-month tour duty and you came home. If you stayed in, you could go back, but probably not. Most guys did one tour in Vietnam. You have people in Afghanistan and Iraq that do 6 months tours back and back and back and back. You know, if they've been in 6 years, they've done six-month tours. And that's got to take a toll on the body, on the psyche, on the soul, you know. And I pray for them because I know they're hurting. I have cousins, second cousins, however you count those things. My cousins' children, Marines in Vietnam or in Afghanistan, and I talk to these guys about their experiences. And you know, it's a different. Just like Vietnam was a different kind of war from World War II or Korea, where we had definite lines and we fought by definite strategies. Afghanistan and Iraq are like that too, different in that. We never had to deal with driving down the road and having our truck blow up under us. It was never heard of. We had different kind of atrocities in Vietnam, but I don't know. I know how a soldier goes into battle. Okay, I think, having never done it, I know how we're trained to go into battle, though. And I just think about these young kids going in now. How could they step out and get in that truck knowing that they have no control over that truck, only the driver does? And whatever that driver does, they're in their hands. And it scares me. I feel bad for them.
On the final evening of the rally in Winnemucca, Nevada, the band revs up and 2 torchbearers set fire to the woodpile where the motorcycle is anchored. The bike is burned as the crowd watches. Soon it is consumed by the inferno, and the spectators stand back from the intense heat. The spectacle also suggests a theme beyond the display itself, and of a conflict with much deeper implications. Many have asked the question, what will become of our great nation, America, in the years directly ahead? What would happen if another kind of firestorm were to hit our country? One that could consume our founding principles and threaten our constitutional freedoms. Many are now saying that this storm has arrived and that we are in danger of losing the nation we have known and loved. Will the ranks of America's defenders rise up to reclaim our heritage? If they do, what will the outcome be? Will America remain the land of the free? Will we still be one nation under God? Some of the answer to this may be found in the men and women of Biker America.